maybe you don't know this, but I despise any talk by, well, low frequency individuals in terms of when they want to discuss aliens versus extraterrestrials. Now, the reason why I say that they're low frequency is because it's based in ignorance. The whole entire conversation. It's based in assumptions off of ignorance. Now, you're thinking, purple equals out. What do you mean by this? Let me try to explain. You see, the terminology alien has been used by low frequency individuals quite often throughout our whole entire existence on this planet. For however many billions of years we've been on this planet. The term alien just means something foreign, something that we're not familiar with. For all intents and purposes, alien is anything you don't know or have any, way to explain what it means. COVID-19, the virus, is an alien. It's something that's novel, new, that we can't explain. So therefore it's alien. Now you can also use the terminology synonymous with alien, which is foreign. So it's something foreign. But isn't something foreign an alien? Well, that's predicated on your bias. Let me explain this. Why do we use the term foreign national for certain groups of people when they enter certain areas, territories, jurisdictions? But then we'll go and use the terminology illegal aliens for other groups of individuals when they enter a territory, jurisdiction. Now, don't you think that's a little odd and strange? Foreign nationals, illegal aliens. So, I think it's kind of encumbersome that I would share my theories about this whole thing. It's tinged in something that's, literally dark in nature. You see, the more, for lack of better ways of phrasing this, the more lighter you are as an individual, the more you're foreign, the more darker you are as an individual, the more alien you are. So you're foreign if you're light. You're an alien if you're dark. You see why I don't necessarily generally accept the practice of the terminology alien? Let me also state this. Every time certain groups of people, I'll call them people, because, I want to be nice, but I know that this man was sick, very mentally sick and disturbed in the cortex of the brain. Every time certain creatures start talking about aliens, you know the next thing that's right around the corner is, servitude and slavery. You know, the justification for slavery of any nature on this planet has been the thing is foreign, the thing is alien, the thing is not one of us. It kind of looks odd. It kind of acts strange. It sometimes can misbehave. It's an alien, don't you know? And because it's an alien, it's dangerous to us. So we must, well, capture it, enslave it, and will make it behave similar to the ways in which we behave. Now, if I've shared something that was inaccurate about, well, certain mammals and their tendency and their logic, please do inform me in the comments section. I await to hear this brilliant rebuttal to what I just stated. So you have to be very careful when certain creatures start talking about aliens again, because I know what that means. We all should know what that means. Slavery is right around the corner. You know, I started getting a little nervous a number of years back. Now, typically, humans are fascinated with aliens. They're like, oh, aliens can do this, they can do that. And we've made a gazillion movies about how we think aliens look. Sometimes they look just like humans. Sometimes they look like monsters. But aliens have looked a million different ways, based off of our creativity, I would imagine. Or maybe we've actually seen aliens before, and that's where the depictions come from. Who knows? Only time will tell. Anyway, what has always been the case, a running thread in this whole thing, in the discussion of aliens, has been, well, aliens are going to want to do something harmful to us as a species. So we have to, well, do something harmful to the aliens first. Now, going back to what I said earlier, the word alien gets used a whole lot by humans towards people who resemble other humans, but are just a little bit darker in nature. Now, let me give you a recent example of what I mean. Don't you, some of you, not all of you, but don't some of you call people coming up from the south of this border, you know, South America, coming to Central America, which is the United States of America, and then North America is actually on top of Central America, which is Canada. Don't you, some of you, well, don't you foreigners call people who are coming up from the south of this border illegal aliens? Now, what makes the folks that live in South America illegal aliens? Well, they speak a different language that you're unwilling to learn or even attempt to want to learn. They have different customs and cultures and practices that you don't care to, well, want to educate yourself on. And, well, they look a little bit, for the most part, darker than you. So they're illegal aliens. And you see how you can justify, well, stating that they're invading your country, invading your land. Now, I don't know when this became anyone's land besides the indigenous First Nation people's land. I'm in occupied Duwamish territory. Respect that the land is still occupied and be grateful. We're all occupiers on occupied land. But they're coming and invading your country, right? And they're illegal aliens. And you have to build a wall to keep the illegal aliens out. Because they're murderers and rapists and thieves, correct? Now, seeing as I'm not one of you creatures that thinks like that, I've traveled south of the border many a time. I've actually lived south of the border, you know. And, well, wouldn't you know, they treated me very kindly. They weren't savages and barbarians, or else they wouldn't be talking to you fuckers right now. So this whole notion about people who live in Mexico, people who live in Colombia, people who live in El Salvador, people who live in Costa Rica, people who live in Chile, people who live in Brazil, people who live in Argentina, people who live in Peru. This whole notion that everybody's an illegal alien is kind of bullshit. It's kind of something that you ought to stop saying. Because, well, it's detrimental. And right around the corner, like I said, anytime you start talking about aliens, it's slavery. It's dehumanization. You see, when you can label a group of people as aliens, then it's fair game to, well, mistreat the aliens. Now, I know we don't mistreat any undocumented people in our country. That's not American. That's not something that we do here. We don't exploit people. We're nice people. You see? This is what happens when you listen to, well, creatures that have a genocidal tendency and that can mask their language and linguistics very well. They're masters at being deceivers. I know who they are. I just don't name them. But, well, seeing as it's winter this season, and we're not necessarily playing nice anymore, and all bets are off the table this winter. Because we're coming out swinging. Because you're coming out swinging. And may the best winner land the greatest punch. Anyway, I don't like the whole alien thing. So when those genocidal creatures that do that, do it, I kind of always go back to, well, a more respectable and welcoming language. They're undocumented. They just don't have the documentation you have. You know, you colonized this land and, well, created facilities to give you documentation stating that you were legal in colonized land. They just haven't set up their facilities yet to do such a thing. Now, we've talked about aliens. Let's talk about extraterrestrials. Now, extraterrestrials are different than aliens. It's more respectful to call things that you don't understand extraterrestrials than it is to call them aliens. An extraterrestrial just means that they are extra in something. Extra in some quality that you don't currently exhibit or display. Now, extraterrestrials, everybody is like, did they settle on this planet? Were they once here? Look here. Aren't you trying to go to Mars? Aren't you trying to terraform the entire planet of Mars? So specifically, your creation can live there on Mars. That's Elon Musk's whole objective, is to create life, sustainable life on Mars for you humans to go. So you can't be like, oh, extraterrestrials, they're on Earth. You fuckers are trying to go to Mars. And that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why are you trying to go to Mars? You really think the Martians and all the creatures on Mars want your ass, as uncivilized as it is, to go up to their planet and do the same shit you've done to this planet? You really think the aliens on Mars want you there? But you can't even deal with people coming up south of your border without being, let's just say, less than hospitable. And you want to go to Mars. Good luck. I hope the odds are not in your favor. You have to raise your frequency up as a species before you can go anywhere else. You fuckers don't even respect the animals on this planet. You don't respect the trees on this planet. You don't respect your own planet. And you want to go to another. And the creatures there, the gazillions of creatures there, are going to let you disrespect their planet? No. A lot of creatures are allocated planets. You fuckers got this one. You better worry about saving this planet before you try to get to another one. You don't see a lot of creatures saying, oh, I really want to come to Earth. It's so nice here on Earth. No, they stay on their fucking planet. Fix this one. I actually agree with the royal family on this. Why the fuck would you want to go to another planet when you're fucking destroying your own? And there's simple things that all of us could be doing that we refuse to do, even during a global pandemic. You'd rather take ivermectin, a dewormer, a horse dewormer, than, goodness gracious, stop consuming dead flesh. I wonder where you get worms from. If you're not eating dead flesh, do you get worms from eating berries and cabbage and spinach and tofu and onions? Do you get worms from eating that type of food? Or would you get worms from eating dead cows, dead chickens? You know, you can't get to Mars with such ignorance and low frequency. They're going to try to take certain individuals. Oh, these are the smartest people of the smartest people. Well, if you're going to take those smart people, why don't those smart people fix their own planet first? That's what the creatures on Mars are going to say. If you were so smart, why did you let your fucking planet get destroyed and come to ours? Wouldn't your smartness have saved your own fucking planet? Extraterrestrials. I like that language a lot. Steven Spielberg liked that language a lot. He said E.T., which stood for extraterrestrial. And E.T. was a nice extraterrestrial. Everybody grew up. Maybe now you fuckers haven't seen E.T. You need to go and find a copy of E.T. and watch it. E.T. was a nice extraterrestrial that wanted to go home. But while he was here, E.T. was met with hospitality. Something that you fuckers have none of nowadays. Oh, I mean, you're running from Antioch, Illinois to Kenosha, Wisconsin to murder people. And then claiming self-defense. You're getting in pickup trucks and seeing individuals with long legs and dirty toenails and pinning them in like a rat and murdering them. No, you fuckers are not hospitality, hospitable, welcoming. No, you motherfuckers are savages and barbarians. I know that your planet is warming up, and I know that COVID is novel, but that should be a wake-up call to you fuckers that will start doing the things that you know you should be doing, instead of the things you have been doing that you know are detrimental. No, if anything, you fuckers have doubled down on misbehavior. You're on your worst behavior now. Go figure. But you're trying to get to Mars. No, I don't endorse that bullshit. Mars can kiss my ass. You intelligent individuals, save your own fucking planet first before you go and terraform another planet. Now, back to aliens. Aliens are really nice. Extraterrestrials are generally really nice. Aliens, well, we don't have to travel far to see aliens. We do it all the time. We go to certain areas, well, south of the border for spring break. Cabo, Mexico. Tulum, Mexico. Now, when you go down there and you're having a good time, in some cases you go down there and you get killed by other savages and barbarians. You know, let's talk about this for a moment. Spring break and all the spring break destinations. Now you come to an alien location, which is Mexico. You know, you've heard so many bad things about Mexico. There's murderers and rapists. Anyway, you come down to the alien location in Mexico. All of you savages and barbarians, we don't ever really hear about the aliens doing anything. You know, the illegal aliens doing anything to harm you. They're the ones serving you the alcohol. They're the ones you're staying at their establishments. So we never hear anything about the illegal aliens doing anything harmful to you. But you know, we do hear stories about things being done to you in Mexico by the savages and barbarians that you come down there to party with. You know, on spring break, the people who will usually get killed by other spring breakers are the people that come down there to celebrate spring break with those individuals. But it's the illegal aliens who are the murderers and rapists, right? Remember, Donald Trump said we have to build a wall to keep the illegal aliens out. They're not sending their best. They're sending their murderers and rapists and thieves. No, he was describing what came across the boats and shores in 1492. You fuckers were the murderers, rapists, and thieves. They actually sent you from the Australian prisons, from the British prisons, from the Dutch prisons. You were prisoners when you came over here. They didn't want you in their countries anymore. They said these savages and barbarians can go over here with the other savages and barbarians that they consider. And whichever savage and barbarian wins is the winner. It just so happened that you happened to win. A lot of those countries have regretted sending their savages and barbarians to this land. But that doesn't mean that those countries still don't owe, well, reparations for what happened to the indigenous people. The genocide of 55 million indigenous people. You still owe that money, Europe. You still owe that money. Anyway, we got to be careful about that whole illegal alien terminology and aliens in general. I know that slavery is right around the corner. And also extraterrestrials. For the most part, I would think that they're nice. If they really wanted to be bad, I think they would have been bad to you fuckers already. I mean, you've been here for 400 years. The extraterrestrials haven't done that much damage to you. If anything, you're the ones that have done damage to the planet. You're the ones that cut down all the trees. I didn't see extraterrestrial companies cutting down trees. No, that wasn't what happened. I didn't see the extraterrestrials kill up all the animals. No, that wasn't what happened. Don't blame this mess, this bullshit, on aliens or extraterrestrials. That's their next step. They gotta find a boogie person. It was the aliens that did it. It was the extraterrestrials. No, that one's not gonna pass the smell test either. We all would have seen these extraterrestrials by now, chopping down all the trees and eating all the animals. We go out every day. We don't see extraterrestrials doing anything in our society. We see you, low frequency, low IQ, ignorant human beings misbehaving. Don't blame any of this shit on aliens and extraterrestrials. It's you fuckers. And now you highly intelligent creatures want to jump ship and head to Mars. No. I don't think you can even get off the planet. That's my suspicion. But if you're capable of getting off the planet, that shit that you're sending up there looks like toys, probably, to, well, far superior creatures. They're like, oh, here's another toy coming up. Look at this shit. You can't fuck up your planet and then expect for creatures on another planet to want to be welcoming to you. Be welcoming on your own planet. You fuckers can't even be welcoming to people who live right next door to you. They're illegal aliens. But you want to go to Mars? My goodness. The logic in that bullshit. You know they're not going to take you, ignorant people who don't like illegal aliens. They're definitely not going to take you on a rocket ship. No, you're going to drown in the floods. They're going to try to get off. But you fuckers, you're going to stay behind and drown because of climate change that you don't believe in. Even though it's like saying, I don't believe fire is hot. Well, you can just put your hand on the fire and find out. So when people say, I don't believe in climate change, well, when it's 120 degrees in Portland and you roast to death because you don't have an AC, because you've never needed an AC, then you find out climate change is real. When all your homes catch on fire in California, then you find out it's real. When China and India are underwater, then you find out climate change is real. When all your crops start to die and there's no more water in places where there were large water beds, then you find out it's real. Fucking idiots. I don't think it's real. You fuckers are not real. You're not real smart anyways. Aliens and extraterrestrials. There's nothing wrong with either. I support both. And you should too. And stop calling people in in Mexico. Illegal aliens. Goodness sake, this is ignorance. There are people of Mexican ancestry in your country that have been in your country for as long as it's been a country. Nonsense. Nonsense. You better cut out this fucking nonsense, I'm telling you. The ship is sinking quicker than you can, well, find the pail if there's any left on the ship. Nonsense. They're invading my country. They're coming across the border. They're coming across the border. Haven't you seen them invade my country? Fucking stupidity, your country.